Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch who lived just north of Whoville,
did not.
the Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas
season.
Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be, perhaps, that his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight.
But I think the most likely reasonable, maybe that is hot, with 2 sizes too small.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from his cage with a sour, grinchy frown, and the warm lighted windows below in their town.
Look at your boots.
Yeah, he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings.
I'm not dressed as Santa Claus. You're dressed as Santa Claus.
Yeah. He snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow's Christmas. It's practically
here.
Then he growled with his fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew. All the Who's girls and boys would wake bright and early and they'd rush for their toys, and then the noise.
Yeah.
The noise. Oh, the noise. That's one thing he hated.
The noise. What?
Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which is something the Grinch could not stand in the least.
What's she saying?
She's saying, give me some of that roast beast.
What's she saying?
Give me some of that roast beast too.
What's he saying?
Yum. And then they do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing.
What are they singing?
Ooh, ooh, ooh. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. And they'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought.
I must stop this whole thing.
Why for? I must stop Christmas from coming. Then he got an idea. I know just what to do, said the Grinch in his throat. He made a quick Santa Claus. He chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick with this coat and this hat. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Shh. Did that stop the old Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread and he tied a big to the top of his
head. He's making a ranger.
That's right.
Turning him into a ranger.
All right, come sit next to me.
He just has to go.
Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, "Giddy up," and the sleigh started down towards the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in there. Do you want to read this book further? All their windows were dark, white snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without a care. Then he came to the first little house on the square. This is stop number 1.
This is my hand.
The old Grinchy Claus hissed. And he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his
fist. Yay.
Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it,
then so could the Grinch.
He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out. The fireplace flew. Where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present.
Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, chickens, tricycle, popcorn and plums.
And he stuffed them in bags, and the old Grinch very nimbly stuffed the bags one by one up the
chimney.
Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast
beast.
He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of...
Who has?
Then he stuffed up the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree.
What's glee?
And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard the small sound like the...
Crab-a-dub.
He turned around fast and he saw a small who? Little...
Cindy Lou Who is not more than 2.
The Grinch had been caught by this tiny who daughter who got out of bed for a...
Water.
cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said,
Santa Claus, why are you taking my Christmas tree? Why?
very good.
Santa Claus, why are you taking my Christmas tree? Why?
Very good. But you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie and he...
Dora.
Why, my sweet little Tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head. He got her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with a cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the logs for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some.
Why?
And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a...
Mouse.
Come sit with Daddy. Come sit with Santa.
I'm Cindy Lou Who. I'm going back to bed.
Okay. Then he did the same thing to the other whose houses, leaving crumbs much too small for other who mouses. It was 4:15, all the who's still in bed, all the who's still a snooze when he picked up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, the tinsels, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the who's, he was grinchiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for a minute or two. Then the who's down in Whovilles will all cry. Boo, boo.
Why are they gonna cry boo-boo?
Because they don't have any presents.
Because he took all their presents. Now they don't have any presents. Cindy Lou Who doesn't have any presents. And the mom doesn't have any presents. And the dads don't have any presents.
That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his
Ear.
and he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in,
No, then it started to grow.
but the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded...
Merry.
It couldn't be so, but it was merry.
Very.
He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a...
Shocking surprise.
Every who down in Whoville, tall and small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the Grinch, with his Grinchy feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so?
So,
It came without ribbons. It came without tags.
without
Packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
Then you got an idea.
And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say, the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't quite feel so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. And he brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he, the Grinch, himself.
The Grinch told the roast beast.
Very good.
What's she saying?
I love roast beef.
What's she saying?
Yum.
What's she saying?
Merry Christmas. Can you say Merry Christmas?
I have a new nightgown on.
Charlotte, can you say Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas!
Say bye-bye. See you next year.